Hello and welcome to Inside Business, making headlines. US economy figures are cause for concern, say economists. Dubai plans 30% spending cut. And we find out how continued economic uncertainty is turning the spotlight on gold. There were mixed results across the GCC markets today, with similar trends at the UAE bourses. The DFM fell 0.1% to close at 1,496 points. DP World shares were up 2%, while DEPA was down nearly 9%. The interior contracting company announced that it has acquired Singapore's design studio furniture manufacturer for 295 million dirhams. 28 million shares were traded, valued at 45 million dirhams. The ADX gained nearly 0.5% to close at 2,508 points. Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank was up 2.5%, while Bank of Sharjah was nearly up 2%. Aldar Properties climbed nearly 2%. 46 million shares were traded, valued at 113 million dirhams. With US economic growth numbers coming in as a negative surprise, investors are worried that the country's economy is running out of steam. The US economy grew at 1.6% in the second quarter, revised downward from a forecast of 2.4%, enhancing fears of a double-dip recession. Officials have promised several steps to prevent the economy from slipping. However, experts believe that although it is too early to call it a double-dip recession, the numbers are a cause for concern.
I think the number came as an unpleasant surprise. People were expecting the US economy still to be in recovery mode. Now, of course, the big fear has come back. The double dip may be with us once more. People thought we'd got away from it, but it does look as though the US economy is running out of steam. That is very worrying for investors, and I think we're seeing that reaction already. Whether this is something that is a trend that is going to see us sliding into a global recession once more is a moot point. I think it's far too early to say whether that's going to be the case, because we are seeing the authorities and the Fed starting to make noises about what they're going to do to combat that, but it is certainly a danger.
Governments around the world are taking practical steps to sustain the economic recovery, and Dubai is no exception. The Emirates budget chief predicts a spending cut by 30%. Dubai's chief of police and head of the budget committee, Lieutenant General Dahi Khalfan Tamim, says the cuts will reduce the size of the Emirates' $1.6 billion budget deficit. This follows an earlier pledge to save $1 billion on government spending. Analysts feel that this is a positive development, which has come at the right time given the current economic environment.
It's a positive development in the sense that they are taking practical measures at trying to address their debt situation. As you know, Dubai last year had a budget deficit, which they're trying to obviously eliminate over the coming 2 years. Figuring out ways to cut budgets without really deviating from Dubai's long-term strategy is actually a positive development. And it's particularly relevant in the environment that we're in right now, where there's a lot of debt consolidation that needs to take place. And in the case of Dubai and the government of Dubai, they do have some very serious debt or credit issues that they're trying to work through. So it certainly is an appropriate step at the right time right now.
And in our fast financial news, Standard & Poor's rating services has withdrawn DMCC's rating on the company's request following its review of negative cash flow expectations for the government-owned entity in 2010. DMCC believes that S&P's decision is unjustified, as it has paid off the last instalment of its $200 million debt in May 2010. And Dubai World has started talks with small creditors, excluding those part of the Coordination Committee of Banks, on its debt restructuring plans. Al Ittihad has reported that the company plans to get approval on its $14.4 billion bank debt from all creditors to avoid lawsuits. There were mixed results in the Gulf markets today. Let's check in on those numbers now, starting off with the UAE general indexes. Coming up now, let's take a look at the major international currencies against the dirham, followed by the price of oil and the precious metals. On the way after the break, we talked to Rolf Schneebly, the CEO of Gold Services AG and the former regional head of the World Gold Council, about the direction that the precious metal is headed. That's when Inside Business continues. Stay with us.